Welcome back to Inside Glory as we take a look at the best of 2018 so far. And joining me to do so, the former welterweight champion of the world and my broadcast colleague, Joseph Valtellini. Let's talk about the first event of the year, a milestone night for sure. Glory 50, our 50th event, 100th show. Looking back to that night in Chicago, what's the one fight that jumps out?
It's Harut Grigorian versus Myrtle Grunhart. We first saw them in that controversial finish. Some call it, a cheap shot. Some say defend yourself at all times. But that storyline ended there. We had Harut Grigorian really come out and have a dominant first round finish over Myrtle Grunhart. And that was the fourth time the welterweight belt has changed in 14 months. So a lot of big changes.
He mowed right through him right from the bell. And that's what we've come to expect from Harut Grigorian. Blink and you could be on the canvas. Then 2 weeks later, we headed over to Holland for Bad Blood Hesti Gerges versus Badr Hari.
Yeah, we saw different Badr Hari. We saw him return against Rico. And against Rico, you saw those pictures. You saw his power training. He was big, he was strong. And I think that was his idea. He had to come in with a lot of power and try to finish Rico. But against Gerges, we saw a different physique. He was leaner. He relied more on his cardio. And I think a big thing for him is, can he go those 3 full rounds against a current heavyweight?
Then for Glory 52, we left Europe, came back to the United States, Los Angeles, and it was a featherweight showdown we'd all been waiting to see. Robin van Roosmalen, who looked unbeatable at featherweight, squaring off against American Kevin Van Ostrand, who'd only lost once in his life and was looking to become Glory's first ever American male world champion.
That fight was a contrast of styles. You saw Van Roosmalen pressure the fight, where Van Ostrand tried to use his trickiness, but as the fight went on, that pressure fighting was too much for Van Ostrand.
So from Los Angeles then to Lille, as we made our return to that city for the first time in 3 years, and the stage was set for the biggest women's kickboxing match of all time. The queen of kickboxing, Anissa Meksen, unbeaten for 5 years, taking on Amel Debbie. How did it play out? Well,
it was just Amel Debbie trying to pressure, but Anissa Meksen is just too smooth with her movement. The way she moves, the way she enters and exits with her strikes, she just doesn't give any of her opponents a chance.
Speaking of smart and technical, Sidichai defending his title twice in this year. The second time, a much more competitive fight against Tijani Bezkadi.
Even though he lost that fight and Sidichai is continuing his reign as one of the most dominant kickboxers, Tijani looked good. And he ended up staying in there, taking hard kicks, showing good strategy, circling away from the power kick, staying long as possible. He looked well, and I think he got a lot of confidence getting out of that fight.
So then from Lille to the United Kingdom, as Glory made its return to England for the first time in 5 years, 2 title fights on the night. Harut Grigorian taking on Aleem Nabiev.
Harut Grigorian defended his title successfully for the first time. He really showed that his win over Myrtle Grunhart was no fluke, and it looks like he just keeps getting better, and he's going to be really that force to be reckoned with.
As far as the heavyweight division, no moving parts at all. We've got one guy. He defended his title for the 7th straight time, Rico Verhoeven, beating Mladen Brasivac.
Yeah, Rico Verhoeven is just too much of a dominant force right now. He had the same game plan he used in the first fight against Brasivac, came forward, used his pressure, and got a good victory.
Are you ready for glory?